If I had a nickel for every time I got into a fight with little to no combat experience and win, I'd have 3 nickels, which ain't a lie, but it's kind of weird it happened thrice. I'm gonna tell you how I won the first 2 times though. And if I had to give a story to this title, I'll name it Wrath of the Guardian. But before we get into the story, I do want to apologize because this happened a while back when I was like in either the 5th or 6th grade. So my memories are not at its best. But I will do my best to tell the story though. Alright? This all started in either 2015 or 2016 in my neighborhood on North 49th Way, Bell Road, in this grassy field surrounded by rocks and gravel. There was only a few witnesses. Me, my cousin, 2 bullies named Dimitri and Lucas, a kid named Israel with his little sister. So 6 peeps all together. It wasn't really much, although the two bullies had made fun of my cousin. They called her a skunk and they made her cry by doing so. And then they called me a dog. Personally, I could care less about being called a dog. However, they made fun of my cousin. They hurt my cousin. No one hurts my cousin and gets away with it. So I told them to leave her alone. They said, make us, and pulled out toy weapons. I think it was like a sai and a few daggers. So I told Israel to protect my cousin. And I rushed home to get Nerf swords, dual Nerf swords, all right? Then ran back to fight the bullies. The fight was quick, explosive, and intense. I was outnumbered, but not outmatched. A minute or 2 had passed, and the fight ended with both bullies running away with bruises. Mind you, the swords were made of foam. I took my cousin home through an open garage door, only to get caught by Grandma. She had asked me why I had my Nerf swords out, so I explained the whole story to her. She then looked at me with proud eyes and a warm smile. And she said something I'll never forget, even if I was on my deathbed. She had said I was like Captain America. Captain America as in Steve Rogers, not none of the other ones, just the original. Okay? 2 days later, Lucas and Dimitri came back and tried to fight us, but Israel teamed up with me because he felt a bit guilty about me fighting 2 bullies alone back then. However, something was a little off about these guys, because ever since they came back, they had this bag that looked heavy. Mind you, they're at least a year, 2 years, maybe 1 or maybe 2 years younger than me at the time. So I'm looking at the bag cautiously, expecting something, and boy, I wish I was wrong, because these 2 kids went into the bag and grabbed a brick. So I'm fighting a kid with a brick in hand and a toy sword. What the heck? There ain't not much that Israel and I can do, because we have to move around the battlefield, trying our best not to get hit by a brick, all right? I've seen what those bricks can do in Home Alone 2. I don't want any parts in that. The fight got so bad, I even tried to use my bike helmet as a shield. So I'm fighting like bam, bam, hoping and trying to avoid the brick because I don't want to get hit by a brick. Thankfully, we were saved since an elderly woman had came up to tell Israel and his sister it's time to go home. But we did learn real quick that she was their nanny, because when she caught us fighting, she put on her stern voice and said, "What's going on?" And like a cartoon character, we just all froze, and slowly just looked at her. Like, we were just frozen, kind of like a kid caught with their hand in the cookie jar. This Israel's younger sister quickly explains the whole situation, and the nanny sends us all home. I mean, all of us. I got sent home with my cousin. Lucas and his sister got sent home. Heck, even the bullies got sent home. And we had to explain the situation to our parents, which in my case, I had to explain it to Titi, my aunt, that evening. And right after we got done later on that evening, because right after I got done explaining, we hear someone ring the doorbell. Ding dong! Titi goes to see what's open the doorbell. Israel with his family is there. They then explain the situation to Titi like an ambassador forming a treaty of alliance. After that day, I went to lead TT to Lucas and Dimitri's house in order to explain what had happened. After that, their dad had scolded both parents, and we lived somewhat happily ever after, I guess. But hey, a win's a win. I know the fight was technically a draw, but in my book, it's a win. Why? Because I didn't win, but I also didn't lose either, because definition of win is basically you don't lose, you're the victor. The end. I'm done. Have a good night. God bless you guys.